if I miss something. And then I can always check back at the end if you have any more questions and try to answer them for you. So we are doing something today. We are doing mung bean pancakes. And I did do this class a couple of years ago, and it was in person. So the recipe that you have, we might be doing some tweaks on it. But again, what I like to tell people is recipes are just made as a reference. You can always change it up and do whatever you want. So if you're missing an ingredient or if you don't like an ingredient, feel free to mix it up and make it yours, because that is what they're for. So I do want to say that I think the recipe that is in for the guidelines, I think it was using sprouted mung beans. And it was funny, I was going to the co-op and they didn't have the sprouted ones, and I kept looking in the refrigerated section. And so I was like, oh my gosh, they're not here. Where are they? We can't do the class. There's no mung beans, but actually they have them in the dry section, in the bulk section. So I did grab some of them, which are these. So the difference is you can use sprouted or you can use soaked. It doesn't matter. It's completely up to you. The flavor is a little crispier if you use the sprouted, but either is good. Now, what you wanted to do, if you did look on reference, so the beans are going to be hard when you start with, so you want to soak them overnight, and that is just going to make them a lot softer. So when you blend it together, it's going to make a batter really well. And if you did want to ever sprout them, the way to sprout them is you take a large mason jar like this, and it's going to be about a 1-to-4 ratio. So you're going to do a cup of sprouts to 4 cups of water, about 3.5, 4 cups. And you're going to let it sit overnight. And then you're going to pour out all the water. And instead of having a cap, you can use kind of like mesh. I mean, you can use cheesecloth. You could use any sort of mesh so it has air circulating through it. And you're going to just leave it on the counter. And then every day you're going to water it and let it dry out again. And that's actually how you make sprouts. So you can even make alfalfa sprouts that way, many different sprouts. But you can also make the mung bean sprouts that way as well. So that's kind of a fun tidbit. I have yellow split mung beans. Same rules apply. Yeah, I think so. I would just kind of test it out, but I think that most beans, as long as they're around the same size, they're gonna have the same rules. So you want to just soak them. I would say no less than 4 hours, but up to a day to soak. So to get started, this is a cup, and I started soaking it last night. So I ended up draining out the water, and we're going to put it in our blender. You can also put it in a food processor. And I've been taking people's comments. So I'm using my iPhone, which has a little better video camera for everyone. And I can kind of maneuver it a little better too. So hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing a little more. I'm just going to shift you over to my blender. Can you see the blender? The blender's over here. Okay, so we're going to pour in your beans. And this is going to make the batter. And all you're going to want to do is add in a pinch of salt and a little pepper, like that. And then about a cup of water. And we're going to blend it. I'm going to start with that, see where it goes. All right, so as you can see, it looks like a pancake batter. So pretty easy for that, very standard. And bring you back over here. so these are Korean pancakes, and they are called Nokdu Baindeok, which means mung bean pancakes. And they can be used as an appetizer. You can use them as a main. I eat them for breakfast a lot, which are really good. So you can, add some savory tahini. Sometimes I use. It's not very Asian or Korean, but it still tastes really good. So now what you want to do is we're going to make the actual batter, and you're going to add your veggies that you want. We're going to be adding some carrots and zucchini and green onions today. Feel free to add whatever veggie you want. Again, make it your own. So let's say you have some radishes, use some radishes. It's pretty much fair game, I think. So we're just going to shred them, because I like you can cut them into julienne if you want, but I like the shredded because they just cook up a little better. So we're gonna start shredding our carrots. And, if you want to save time, you can always buy the pre-shredded carrots as well. I was actually thinking the other day, what would be really good is if you had like a cabbage mix too. So like red cabbage and the carrots. I think that would be really good in it. So play around. Yes, you can find more recipes on Nourish, and then I actually do have a blog as well. It's called Just Delicious Living, and you can follow that for even more recipes. And you can also follow me on my Instagram, which is also Just Delicious Living. So whenever I drop a new recipe, I put it on there first, because we all eat with our eyes. So then you can kind of see what's going on and see if you like it and go from there. Okay. So here's one. I'm going to do another. Is anybody is anybody cooking with me today? If so, I like to kind of, looks like Tracy might be cooking with me. She's got an apron on. I really like it, fancy. So I will go a little slower, just for people to catch up if they need me to. So just let me know and I can slow down. But now we're just doing the tedious grating. Lots of fun. Oh, thank you, SK. Okay. So we got that. So we're going to put it into a bowl, and we're going to end up adding everything to our bowl. So we'll add the rest of the carrots. I like mine really carroty, because the carrot adds a bit of sweetness to it, which I really enjoy. Okay. And now we're going to shred our zucchini. More fun. I keep the peel on for my zucchini, but if you don't like it, you don't have to. You can always take it off. Oh my goodness. And mind you that when you add a zucchini to anything, this is definitely because I've done it before and failed. When you're baking or cooking, zucchini is mostly water, so you just want to be careful with that. So I wouldn't put more than one zucchini in, because it will change the texture of your pancakes. Whew, just lost that. Okay. Put that in. Shred. Get some good arm muscles in here. Okay. Now we have that. I'm going to do some green onions. I always tell people the best way to hold your herbs and green onions, treat them like you would flowers. So put them in some water, and they'll stay for up to a week in your fridge, which is really nice. I know with summer coming, we always want to have fresh herbs and stuff available, but then we, they go bad so quickly in the fridge. So this is a really good way to keep them. Go down. We're doing about 4 stalks. And we're going to add that. Okay. And I am also going to add some cilantro. Love cilantro. If you don't like cilantro, you don't have to use it. You can use any fresh herb, really. You could even use some parsley if you want. I haven't used dill. That would be interesting. It would change up the whole dynamic of it, but you could. All right. One more. Okay. Chop that. What's also great about these pancakes is they're gluten-free, so you can always feed them to your gluten-free parties if you have people over, which is nice. Have something on dark. Okay, I'm gonna add that. Okay. And then we are going to add a little more salt and pepper to it. Okay, and about a tablespoon of garlic powder. You can also use fresh garlic if you have it as well to give it an even more garlicky flavor. Here, we're using the ends of a lot of stuff in this recipe, so that's good. Okay. And last, we're going to add in the batter. Let's kind of mix this up. You can see that. Pretty. Now we can add in our batter. And mung beans are great protein. And they're also, they're not as aggressive on your stomach. So, if you have trouble digesting beans sometimes, these are very gentle beans, so you won't necessarily get the stomach ache that you would if you had, let's say like garbanzo beans or something. So that's good to know. Ooh, I think I got garlic in my nose. Woo. Woo. Okay, so we're gonna mix this batter together. And it is going to be thick. And if it is too thick, feel free to just add a little more water to it to make it the consistency that you want. And just think when you make it, it's like a pancake batter. Okay, so we want to let this set for a couple of minutes. And so while it's sitting and just kind of melding together, we can make our sauce. And I like making a dipping sauce just because it just goes really good with it. And who doesn't like to dip things? Okay, so we will put this off to the side like that. And we will make our sauce. And you can use many different sauces if you want. So make sure. So we're going to start with coconut aminos. Coconut aminos is my sub for soy sauce. I am gluten-free. If you don't, you can use regular soy sauce. And if you don't want coconut aminos, you can also use tamari. Tamari is a soy sauce version that is gluten-free. Coconut aminos, so I do, because I am mostly plant-based, I do eat a lot of soy products. So I just want to cut down when I can. And this is a good way to do that with the coconut aminos instead. So I'm going to add about a half a cup of coconut aminos. And this stuff is so good. Like I'm not even joking. Like if I'm going out somewhere, I will bring this with. I'm that person that has a bottle of soy sauce in her purse and I pull it out, but you know what? No shame here. I feel good about it. So now we're gonna add, let's see, this is sesame oil. So we'll do a tablespoon of sesame oil. And we are gonna do rice wine vinegar as well. And this is just gonna give it a little acidity, and we'll do a tablespoon of that. See? Well, a little more, because I'm not gonna use that for anything. So a little of that. And I like heat with mine. If you don't have to use it. I like using sambal. Sambal is more of like the red pepper and the chilies, but you can also use sriracha if you have it as well. And I'll do about a tablespoon. Again, if you're not a big fan, start with maybe a teaspoon or half a teaspoon, go from there. And you can always, start small and add more. So that way you don't have to forgive yourself later because you can always add more. Mix that together. I'm gonna pour it in my big dipping bowl. And then I like to add some sesame seeds to it. Make it pretty. And I will also chop another green onion. Why not? All right. Whew. Making a mess. Okay. So here is the dipping sauce that you can see, and we're just gonna set that aside until we're done. So now you're gonna heat up your pan. Let's see if you can see this a little bit more. Can you see the pan? Yeah, you guys can see the pan. So I'm gonna turn on, if you're using a regular nonstick pan, you wanna make sure you spray it. I like using a stone pan. That way I don't actually have to use oil and it gets still that really good crust on it. So that is why I use this. This is a Ozen, I think I'm saying it right. If you are interested in it, you can take a look on my blog. I have a lot of my favorite products on my blog, just for stuff in the kitchen. If you are interested in seeing what I'm using and what kind of knives I like and stuff like that. So okay, so we can bring over our, so this is pretty thick. So we can, and the nice thing too is we can always test it out. So test it out, we'll do a little one, we'll see how it turns out. If we don't like the consistency of it, then we can add more liquid to it. So it's pretty forgiving, I guess you could say. Actually, this is a little thicker than I want it to, so I'm just going to add a little more water to it now. And if you don't want to add water, add veggie stuff. All those veggies are absorbing all of our batter. Yum. Okay. How's everyone doing? Good? Good. Okay, so let me ladle a little in. And you can do whatever size you want. If these are going to be single servings, definitely you can make them a little bigger if they're going to be more of like a main course. If they're going to be an appetizer, you can do smaller, just play around. And then just kind of ladle it in.
Hey Jess, do you have a recipe for those dipping sauces?
Is it not on the thing?
It's just for yogurt on the side, like plain yogurt.
Oh yeah, I don't, but I can tell you guys again if you want. Oh, you know what? Let me see if I can write it in the comments really quick. So it is half a cup of coconut aminos, and then it's 1 tablespoon sesame oil, 1 tablespoon rice wine vinegar, and what else did I say? 1 tablespoon sambal or sriracha. And then you can garnish with sesame seeds and chopped green onions. That's not how you spell onions. There. Sorry about that. I didn't realize. Yeah, I didn't realize it has a sauce. But yes, you can also do the yogurt sauce. You can do. I think it did say you can do an egg mixture. I don't know if you're familiar with gochujang, which is a red chili paste specifically for Korean dishes. You could definitely make a little mixture with that with your yogurt. If you took a little tablespoon of that and put it in with your yogurt, that is always fire. How hot is the flame on the stove? Well, I have a portable, but I would say you want to start with medium to high heat because you want to have it nice and crispy on the bottom. I should have probably waited until my pan got a little hotter, but I was so excited that I had to start right away. I'm a very impatient person. Don't be like me and be patient. Okay, so this is cooking nicely. So yeah, so basically that is how you make these awesome pancakes. And they will hold for, I would say 3 to 5 days in your fridge. So just store them in an airtight container. They can get a little mushy. So if you do pre-cook them, then just hit them on the pan again. Just heat up some oil and throw it back on the pan just to kind of warm them that way. Don't put them in the microwave because then they'll get really mushy. And yeah, you can heat them up every day. So it's nice to make a big batch of it and then eat it throughout the week with whatever you'd like. I also think I made my first one too big, guys. I did. I definitely made it. So don't be like me. Okay, I'm gonna leave it alone. Yeah. So does anybody have any questions for me while we wait for this delicious pancake to cook? What did you use instead of oil? And so I am using a pan that doesn't actually use oil. And so I didn't use any oil on this, but you can use like a cooking spray, avocado oil. You could even put a little bit of toasted sesame oil down on the bottom. That would give it a really good taste to it as well. But this pan specifically, I like to use because you don't need oil really. It's a really great nonstick pan. And it gives it that really nice crust without having to use oil, hopefully. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Are you know, I am always in awe of the people that have patience that they just know exactly when to flip their pancake and it's like that golden brown on the bottom. I am not normally that person. I'm the one that it's all broken up and, you know, you did too quickly. So it takes me, it's like bowling for me. So my first game is pretty rough. My second game, I'm really getting the hang of it. So then it's like my best game. And then the third one, my hand hurts and then, you know, it goes downhill. So pancakes are kind of like that too. So it takes a couple and then I get the hang of it and then they're really good. So you always want the stack in the middle of my pancakes. And then it kind of like tapers off and then it's not good anymore again. So that is my pancake analogy of cooking. Yes. Okay. What brand of the nonstick is safe? You know, it just depends. Cast iron is really good because you can reuse it over and over and it doesn't have all of the chemicals in it. Like I said, if you are interested in using this pan, if you do go to my website, if you look in, I believe it's just under like store, I have this one in specifically that I like. See that? There we go. How's it look? Yeah, looks pretty good. We're gonna flip it. You see it? I mean, not bad for the first time. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna get the hang of it. And I would probably go maybe a little bit smaller, maybe not. Just have to wait. Yeah. So the first pancake is not always the best. Exactly. You know, like I said, it's the momentum. It is just trying to get your feel, get your foot in the game, see how it is. But isn't it cool that these pancakes are literally just veggies? I mean, you don't need cornstarch. You don't need any sort of like baking powder or anything. There is no flour. And I think that that's the coolest thing about these pancakes specifically is that, you know, it is just all natural veggie ingredients. So you know that they're going to be great for you and they taste awesome. Something with eggs. I just said that I like to eat them with eggs. So in the morning, I'll make a couple of them and then, you know, I do eat eggs. I am a pescatarian, so I like, yeah, having like a really nice over easy egg with it to put on top as, I don't know, the added topping on the cakes, if you will. And it's really good that way. Do you ever use mung bean flour? I haven't used mung bean flour, but no, I haven't. Have you? Is there anything that you make with it? I mean, I'm curious. Do you keep them warm in the oven as you cook them? No, I normally don't. I just kind of eat them as I go and then kind of divvy them out. But I mean, you could definitely, if you wanted to, probably just put your oven at a really, really low temp, like 200, and then just keep them warm. Or honestly, you could probably just put another plate over it or something like that. Any way that you would keep your normal pancakes warm, you could do the same way. How are you doing? Am I being too presumptuous? I don't think so. I think we're pretty good. So I'm gonna put that guy down. I'm gonna pour another one. Maybe a little bit smaller this time. Make sure it's even. Nobody wants an uneven pancake. Okay, so we're gonna let that guy go. And you can see our pancake looks great. And I like to cut them into squares. Oh my gosh, they smell really good, guys. And add them like that. Oh, another really good thing to add to them, kimchi. Kimchi is an awesome addition to these. All right. Then your sauce. And then you just kind of, you go in. I wish you guys could share this with me. I don't know. I'm gonna eat one. Sorry. They're good. I would say I'm actually gonna add a little bit more salt to the batter.
Is that Amanda that made some over there? Those look great.
I don't see.
Check it out.
I want to check it out. Amanda, say something.
Oh, I have them muted. Hang on.
Oh, I just want to see Amanda.
Can you see it on me, Jess?
I can't.
So funny.
All I can see is me. Yay! Oh my gosh, those look amazing. Way to go. Have you eaten them yet? Now you gotta indulge. You gotta just go straight for the gusto and grab the sauce. And see, this is why you don't have to warm them, because you literally will eat them as you cook them. Cool. Nice job. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so awesome. That looks really great. Yeah. So you can buy the mung beans at the co-op. So the ones that I'm using tonight are actually the dry version, so they come in bulk. So you want to go to the bulk aisle if you do it at the co-op, and it's next to all the other beans. They're green, they're very small pulses, and yeah. And then sometimes it's rare, but you can also give them sprouted, and you can make this with sprouted mung beans as well, and those are also just as good. I wish I had kimchi now, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, but these are just as good. So also, yeah, so feel free to play around with what you make them with, or what you dip them with, I should say. This one's still a little bit squishy. Would you soak sprouted mung beans? No. I wouldn't. I would, well, if you wanted it to be a little thicker, just kind of like more chewy, I would soak them, but then I would just kind of mix them and not necessarily blend it into, if that makes any sense, or I would do half and half. But if it is sprouted, then they are full of more water. So then you could just not, and then just add them straight away to your blender and add a little bit of water that way. So that answers your question. Amanda, let me know what you think of them, if they're delicious. Well, I know they're delicious. Yeah, look, see, it's getting better. Got that nice brown sear. And I do want to say that the thinner that you make them, the less doughy and dense they'll be inside, which is nice. They taste great. Awesome. Yeah, so I hope everybody can definitely get to some of these in the near future, and feel free to take a picture of it and post it on my Instagram too. I do not have this recipe up yet on the blog, but I think I should. So hopefully soon I can have this up for everyone to check out as well. So yeah, so these are going very quick too. So it's a nice breakfast food to have, just because you can whip it up so quickly. And if you are meat eaters, these are actually really good with ground pork. I know it's bad, but ground pork, if you put them in, you can make like a summer sausage or ground pork with a little 5-spice. And then you can roll these up with them and then dip them in like the dipping sauce that I showed you. I've seen people do that and it's really good. I don't personally, but I've seen it. Do you have a kimchi recipe on your blog? I do not. I haven't taken that step yet. It's a very big step. It's a very long process. I have a very small kitchen, and yeah, like I haven't. I know there's a quick way to do it too. I will say that one of the awesomest Korean sites, if you want Korean specific foods, it's called Mung. It's Maangchi. She is like the dopest Korean cook queen, and she has all of these amazing recipes. So if you did want one, I would recommend going and looking at hers. Hers would be great. But I do eventually want to try to make kimchi. And I know I don't have to bury it, because normally it's a whole process. So you like take the whole napa cabbage, and then you make the paste, and you literally go in between layer by layer, and then you put the paste in. And traditionally you're supposed to put it in, they're like these not oven clad, they're like these clay pots, and you put it in, and then you seal it and you bury it underground. I'm sure my neighbors would not be happy if I started burying some kimchi. But then you're supposed to bury it, and then the coldness of like the ground actually like helps keep it, and then it starts to ferment with all like the vinegar and stuff. And that is actually the process, the traditional process. But we have really good kimchi at the co-op too that they have, so you can also just grab some there as well if you didn't want to go through the whole process of cooking it. So, yeah. Cool. Here's another one we're gonna cut out. Nice and hot. Any other questions from me? I know it's the tedious part of like watching things cook. Oh, you could do mushrooms too. Mushrooms would be really good with this. What did somebody say? Last version, putting kimchi, spicing it, and made a kraut hybrid, I guess. She called it a kimchi. Oh, there actually is a really good fierce ferments. You can buy it at the co-op. Amazing. Like, talk about how something should just be like left to the professionals. She is a professional, like a fermenter, and she has all of these amazing fermented. She's got regular kraut. She's got this kimchi kraut. She's got one that's called credito, which is like it's almost like a Latin. It's got Latin flavors. That's really good and spicy. And check those out if you are big into fermented, and you can get them at the co-op in the refrigerated department, like next to all like the olives and stuff. And that is really, really good. They also have a dill kraut that is like so good. Yes, Mangchi. Thank you, Lisa. She's very cool. I am inspired by her, and I just love her. And she's a lot of energy. She has some really cool recipes too. That's actually the first time I tried making bibimbap, which is like the traditional Korean dish with the clay pot, and then you have your rice, and then you have like your pickled veggies, and then you have an egg with it, and it's normally served traditionally with like a bulgogi beef, which is like a marinated beef that's been sliced. And it was so good, and it actually made me want to go to Korea. And I did. I went to Korea, and man, oh, everybody should go to Korea. The food there is fantastic. So many options, veggie friendly, so fun. The people are great. I'm actually adopted, so it was my first time there, and it was very cool to see. And it was also kind of cool because it made me really realize that my appreciation for food is it's deep rooted. It's like it's something in my culture. It's something that's always been there. That's how your oma, your mom, or your grandmother, that's how they show love, is they share food. And that is actually how I show love. It's my love language, I guess you would say, is food. So it was really cool to kind of connect that and see for myself. I think we did do a bibimbap, like a very modified one once too for the Nourish class. So maybe we can do that again if people want to see that. That's a really good one. There's a lot of really fun dishes. There's one gimbap, and it is like a sushi roll. It's like cooked sushi, and it has this yellow radish, this yellow pickled radish that is really interesting and so good. And it does have tuna, but you can make it veggie. And it has a bunch of different, it has egg in it, and it's really cool. Some people actually like putting spam in it. Not really a spam person, but you can also play around with that too. Cool. So yeah, so this is, again, one of those really easy dishes. And, if you keep mung beans in your pantry, you can always come back to this. And, a lot of the dishes that I like to make are simple enough that you can have all of the pantry items every day with them. So garlic powder, I always have laying around. And, you always have those staple veggies. Like I pretty much always have green onions, cilantro, and carrots. But you could also, if you have veggies that are going bad, you could put it in with one of these two just to use them up. And so this is just a very cheap, substantial filling appetizer or dinner that you can do at really any time. So yes. Sorry to eat in front of you guys. I'm gonna eat another one while it's still hot. I wish you guys could all share with me this because it's so good. It's really so good. Last one I'm going to eat in front of you. Sorry. Yeah. So does anybody have any more questions for me? Yeah, these are going better. Much better. Can I use split yellow peas if I can't find mung beans? You could try. I can't say I've tried, but again, the consistency would probably be around the same. Normally the yellow peas are for like a dal, and that dal actually, when you cook it down, it does get really mushy, almost like that pancake batter type substance. So yeah, why not? I mean, really try it and let me know how it turns out. It could be amazing. It could be sensational. And because yellow mung beans are actually more of like a Indian for the dal. You could add some different like Indian spices that would be really fun. So you could add like some garam masala to it and a little bit of cumin. You could make like a little tamarind sauce or something that you would make instead. I mean, and then it's like a whole new dish really, because then it would be like yellow dal pancakes instead. So yeah, I would definitely try it. Why not? Good. Okay. Make that. burnt have been made with red lentils and species. Yes, and I was just saying, yeah. Cool. All right. I don't know. Can you see these? Don't they look cute? They're awesome. Not gonna lie, this is gonna actually be my dinner tonight. And some of these. And I do have some more classes coming up as well, if you are interested. Maybe Laura could help with the dates, but the next one we're gonna do, because it's summer, so we're gonna do a panzanella salad that is really awesome. It's like an Italian rustic salad that uses really ripe tomatoes to make this really awesome vinaigrette. And it can have capers and really good tomatoes and cucumber. And then it actually uses like a crusty bread. So if you ever want to know what to use with the old bread that you have and it's really hard, that is the salad to make it with. I'm actually going to be making it with gluten-free bread. So that's also kind of cool to see how you can substitute gluten-free bread in, and you can buy that at the co-op as well. There's a whole gluten-free bread section in the frozen section if a lot of people want to try it out or don't really know. And that's just because the bread kind of goes bad a little quicker. So they have a whole section for all these gluten-free breads, and they have come out with so many awesome breads that I'm so excited. So that one is one. And then, yeah, chickpea salad. And that is one where you take chickpeas or garbanzo beans, and then you make like a tuna salad out of it, but you just use it in substitute for the tuna. So it is vegan. It will be vegan if you use like a vegan mayo instead of just using a regular mayo. So that is really fun as well. So those are two more awesome cooking classes that you can join me for if you do really enjoy these really simple, nourishing, affordable meals, which is what we really wanted to try to do, in which we started out, is that, you know, cooking and going to the co-op can be very daunting and overwhelming at first, especially if you aren't familiar with it. And, you know, it can seem like it is more expensive at times. And, you know, parts of it is, but, you know, the nice thing about the co-op is that they do have a lot of foods that are, I think they're marked actually Nourish, and it just means they're more affordable. So, you know, always keep your eye open for that. Having bulk, like these beans come in bulk. When you buy in bulk, you're going to be, it's going to be cheaper because you're getting it in a large quantity. Also, what I say to people is, you know, when you're getting your, you know, all of your seasonings and things like that, you know, instead of buying a whole giant jar of, you know, something that you're only going to use a teaspoon of, this way you don't have to buy all of it and let it sit on your shelf for, you know, who knows how long. You can just buy what you need for it. And I think that really is cost effective as well. And so you have less waste, and that's kind of just a great way, I think, going forward to try to make as minimal waste as possible. Okay. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're coming up on an hour. Just listening to me talk, guys. Thank you for hanging out and listening to me talk. Yeah, is there any other questions that anyone has for me? No, I think I'm just playing around too much, and I just need to leave it alone. That's one thing about pancakes. You have to leave them alone. You can't look at them. There's a bunch of dishes, I feel like that, where you just have to leave it alone, let it do its thing, and then, you know, we're done. How about Tracy? Is Tracy doing okay? Did she get hers done? Did we get to see her pancakes? I see her apron.
Yeah, I sent a chat.
You sent a chat?
Yeah,
Like
but
a picture?
no, they didn't turn out well.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they are soft inside. They're just not turning out. Maybe it's my skillet, but
Okay.
so I've tried 3 different skillets. I've tried different heats, but every time they're not working. So I don't know what I'm done, but
So they're just like a little mushy?
yeah, they're soft and then they burn on the outside.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Sorry. Are you using oil?
Mhm.
What is your pan at? Maybe try turning your pan down a little bit.
Yeah, I tried 3 different heats in 3 different pans.
Oh, no. And then are you using, what kind of beans are you using? Did you soak your beans?
I did sprout. That's what I sent. I sent and sprouted. I used a sprouted.
Oh, did you soak your sprouted ones?
No.
No. Oh, you did find sprouted ones. Okay. And you blended it and you added your water?
Mhm.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe I had too much water. I don't know.
Potentially you could add a little teaspoon of baking powder to it.
Okay, I'll try that.
And that might help thicken it up. You could also add even just a little bit of flour if you want. Just like if you have like almond flour or anything like that, or like a chickpea flour, you could add that just to like kind of like thicken it up.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Sorry. Hopefully come out better next time.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. Yeah, and then again, because the zucchini does have a lot of water to it, if it is kind of that consistency, if you do squeeze out the zucchini beforehand, that could definitely help with the batter consistency as well. By just like shredding it, putting it in a towel, taking your towel and wringing it out. That's actually how you make a zucchini pizza crust as well, because it is so wet and dense. So that is great. That's a good idea. But you know what? The thing of it is that, this is all trial and error. Sometimes I have recipes that I've seriously made over and over again. And one time I'll make it and it's a dud. It doesn't really always turn out. And that's okay, because we're all human and sometimes we just don't know. And cooking, it is chemistry, and it could even be like the temperature in your house. Is it humid? Is it not? There's so many different reasons why something could go a little bit different, and that it isn't always the same every time we do it. So I just try to remember that we just have to not be so hard on ourselves and just try again. All right, so flipping that bad boy over, flatten her out. So yes. Well, I guess we are coming up on an hour, and I am just gonna really sit here and continue cooking my pancakes until all my batter is gone and rambling. So we can probably end this, and you can go on your wonderful evening and enjoy some of this delightful sun that we still have. I'm so excited to actually be doing this when it's still light out and it's not, dark. So super excited about that. And yeah, I hope everybody can try out this recipe and let me know what you think about it by following me and letting me know, or definitely commenting. Comments get sent out after, and you can just let us know what you think of the classes and give us any feedback that you have. Yeah, so again, thank you so much for coming, and I hope you all have a great rest of your evening, and I will see you all soon. So take care, and we'll see you soon.